Stoicism teaches that the wise man, the virtuous man, and the philosopher are those who live in harmony with nature. His only true fear is the abandonment of his moral duties. He does not fear pain, death, poverty, or any of the challenges that life presents. His only concern is that he might betray himself or fall short of being a fully realized human being. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius stands as one of the foundational figures of Stoicism, renowned for his work, Meditations. While the concept of greatness can be elusive, there may be no other figure in history more worthy of that title. This is not a self-help video, I assure you, but the philosophy that Marcus Aurelius championed and documented offers solutions to many of the challenges we face in modern life. Let me show you how. Marcus Aurelius served as the Roman emperor from 161 AD to 180 AD. He was the last of the so-called five good emperors, reigning during the period known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. In fact, with the death of Marcus Aurelius, the Pax Romana came to an end. During his reign, Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth. To the Romans, the world beyond their empire was almost non-existent, so Marcus was, in essence, the ruler of the world. In this position, he had the power to fulfill any desire. Historically, the life of a Roman emperor was nearly synonymous with indulgence. Roman emperors were expected to partake in wealth, sex, wine, and any other pleasure that crossed their minds. Temptation was always within reach for Marcus Aurelius. He was not constrained by money, law, custom, or even ethics. Nothing stood in his way. Yet, despite these boundless opportunities, Marcus Aurelius chose a life of virtue. He chose to be a good man, not just in fleeting moments or on special occasions, but consistently throughout the 19 years of his reign. Marcus Aurelius was, at his core, a good man. Being good doesn't necessarily make one great. However, imagine facing the temptation of unlimited indulgences and firmly choosing virtue, not for the sake of recognition, praise, or fame, but simply for the sake of being good. It's truly remarkable when you think about it. Imagine being in such a position for nearly 20 years. Could you consistently resist the lure of temptation, day after day, knowing there would be no consequences, no matter what choices you made? What would you do? How would you conduct yourself? I can honestly say that I wouldn't be able to follow the example set by Marcus Aurelius. But what's truly telling is that when no one was watching, that's when Marcus was at his best. Meditations is a collection of writings by Marcus Aurelius, though it wasn't really intended as a book. It was his personal journal, a private record of his thoughts and reflections as he navigated through life. It doesn't have a clear structure, being loosely divided into 12 sections and spanning about 150 pages. The title Meditations was later given by publishers. Marcus never titled these writings because they were never meant to be read, let alone published, by anyone other than himself. These were his most intimate confessions and beliefs. With that context, Meditations offers an incredibly deep insight into the character of its author. Since Marcus was writing solely for himself, the raw, unfiltered nature of the text makes it one of the most powerful and profound works ever written. While the best way to understand Meditations is to read it yourself, it's available in almost every library and bookstore worldwide. For the purposes of this video, there are a few key ideas within that are worth exploring. Marcus Aurelius believed in living in harmony with nature. By nature, he referred not only to plants and animals, but also to the natural order of the universe. Trees grow because it's their nature to do so. They strive to become as strong and beautiful as possible, not for praise or external validation, but simply because that's what they are meant to do. This is the natural order. A caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, and a fragile, featherless chick becomes an eagle, not because they desire to, but because they are destined to. In a similar way, Marcus believed that the duty of a human being is to fulfill their potential. He didn't see value in accumulating material wealth or seeking recognition. These are not what define a person's worth. Instead, nature made you human, and with that comes the responsibility to become the kindest, most virtuous person you can be. For Marcus, this was the pinnacle of human achievement. To him, unfulfilled potential was the darkest fate one could face. After all, you can't control the external world or what it throws at you, but you can control how you respond. No matter what happens, a truly great person withstands the challenges and lives up to their fullest, most virtuous potential. That is your duty as a human being. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, so even though he might have enjoyed spending his days writing, that wasn't his primary role, and he didn't have much time for it. His responsibilities were vast, and he had to deal with countless issues and people. Above all, Marcus believed that evil, wicked, or simply flawed individuals were an inevitable part of the world. Expecting to live without encountering such people is as absurd as expecting a vine to grow without thorns. It's just not realistic. Marcus understood that bad people exist, and throughout your life, you will inevitably cross paths with them. However, Marcus also believed in kindness. He held the view that people don't deliberately choose to do wrong. Rather, when they do, it is usually out of ignorance. While you can try to guide or teach them, it's not always possible. We can't control whether the universe sends immoral, lazy, or wicked people our way, and we often can't change them. In these cases, Marcus advises that we must simply endure. To do this, Marcus suggests looking inward. He reminded himself that he too had faults. Who was he to judge others? His flaws might differ from those of the so-called bad people, but they were still faults. On another day, in another situation, Marcus acknowledged that he might be the one acting out of ignorance. He told himself, "You can't even be sure they're doing wrong. The thief who steals to feed his family isn't necessarily wrong. You might just not understand his situation." And in life, there will be many instances where you don't understand, and sometimes you won't even realize that you don't understand. So don't be quick to judge. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius believed that we were all born to support one another. Time and again, he reminded himself of this natural order. A tree produces fruit so that animals can eat. Animals die so that worms have sustenance. Similarly, in the human world, we are made to help each other. This is our duty. The only true failure in life is to neglect this responsibility. So Marcus, you must fulfill it, and you must do it well. We all face adversity, and Marcus Aurelius was no exception. But just as with encountering difficult people, Marcus recognized that facing challenges is an inherent part of the human experience. Once again, you can only control what is within your power to control. So don't waste your time praying for bad things not to happen. That's a fool's errand, Marcus reminded himself. Those things will happen, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to prevent them. But what you can control, Marcus, is how you respond to them. You can ensure that you are prepared to meet adversity when it arrives, and it will arrive, Marcus says. You know it will. When that day arrives, don't be disheartened by the misfortune. Don't pity yourself or sink into despair. Instead, feel grateful that you possess the strength and resilience to emerge from it unharmed. Marcus advises himself to face these challenges with courage, to endure adversity with bravery, and to come out the other side stronger. When you do, you'll realize that what seemed like a bad event was not bad at all. It was merely an opportunity to persist, to rise above, and to keep moving forward. Marcus Aurelius teaches that when these moments come, don't complain, act, endure. You either can withstand something, or you cannot. So what if that seemingly unendurable trial comes your way? Don't disgrace yourself, Marcus tells himself. All men die, but not all men die with dignity, without complaint. Though Marcus Aurelius was a man of immense wealth, he didn't view wealth as inherently problematic. Unlike some philosophers who have condemned material possessions, Marcus was careful in how he related to the things he owned. He could have indulged in anything he wanted: money, houses, art, wine, but he chose a different path. Instead, he reminded himself, Marcus, don't dream of physical things. They are meaningless and do not fulfill your potential. Only you can do that. Reflect on what you do have and appreciate it, remembering how much you would desire it if it were absent. But, he warns himself, be careful not to value these things so much that you would be devastated if they were lost. They don't truly matter. They may be nice, but they don't matter. They don't improve you as a person, nor do they make you more virtuous or kind. Your potential isn't tied to accumulating things, Marcus. Human potential is far greater than that. You must live in harmony with nature. Marcus Aurelius often contemplated death, so much so that it's impossible to discuss his philosophy without touching on his views of mortality. His perspective on death was straightforward. It's inevitable whether you like it or not. He reminded himself repeatedly that it's beyond our control, so don't waste time fearing death or obsessing over mortality. Just as nature has assigned us the roles of being good, helping one another, and realizing our fullest potential, it has also assigned us to die. Death is a duty, so while you're alive, live fully. Be kind, be good, fulfill your role in nature, and then die, for death is also part of that role. Marcus Aurelius, along with a few others, was a pioneer of the philosophy known as Stoicism. The Stoics believed in many things. Their school of thought encompassed logic, ethics, physics, and much more. However, at the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a crucial distinction: the difference between pleasure and happiness. Money, fame, and even success are external stimuli that provide fleeting moments of pleasure, but they are not true happiness. Happiness, according to the Stoics, is something deeper, a state of being that comes entirely from within. It doesn't stem from being an emperor like Marcus Aurelius, nor does it come from any worldly possessions. The Stoics taught that to achieve happiness, you should live a life of virtue, continually better yourself, and strive to become all that you can be. The only real failure, the only true pain, the only genuine sadness, the only thing worth fearing, is to let yourself down by not reaching your potential. Because, and only because, being great is your duty, it is embedded in your very nature. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep exploring the wisdom of great philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. And if you're interested in the book Meditations, the link to get it is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.